When members of the tribe first tagged me in the nice pool videos, my immediate thought was, oh, this is evidence. And, people push back on it. Oh, it can't be evidence because it's just a spoof. And I'm like, no, it's the timing of it. Because spoofing a public figure or a celebrity is not illegal. But when you mock an entire open lawsuit in a movie before the lawsuit was even public or released, mm. So, on top of the fact that there's metaphors and symbologies within the nice pool scenes, this right there solidified it completely. It completely solidified it because not only is nice pool the symbolic representation of Justin Baldoni, but he's also the metaphor and the symbolic representation of everything that makes Ryan Reynolds insecure. But let me go ahead and play this clip for you and you be the judge of it.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
And both Deadpool, both Wolverine has several versions in this film. Which is your favorite version, and was it enjoyable to kill one of yourself?
Well, I have a theme of that. I think I always kill myself in some way. And in fact, all three Deadpool movies, nobody's ever asked that, by the way, but I have actually, in every one of them, I kill a version of myself. And I think that to me is very important. There's a few little runners in there's always nods to planes, trains, and automobiles in John Candy. And there's the theme that I do end up killing myself at some point. But I loved killing Nice Pool because Nice Pool's, as much as he projected that he was wonderful. He was a terrible human being. And I like that Deadpool gets to lean into that anti-hero thing and gets to lean into his childlike desires. I want that. Be it Nice Pool's guns, his gold-plated guns, or his dog that really should be with Wade because the dog and Wade look the same. I like sort of acting out envy in that way because it's a very normal human feeling and it's something that is actually easy to play. And Deadpool's a guy that can kind of get away with it because his coping mechanism against shame is actually the same, Wolverine and Deadpool are the same. They both live in and chew and blow bubbles with shame all day long. My maladaptive coping mechanism is deflection and humor. His is violence, but there's more similarities than not. And those are incredibly interesting things to play with. And then the most interesting thing is to get to work with someone of Hugh Jackman's caliber. He's been one of my best friends for 17 years, but to work with him like this was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
Thank you so much for your
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
If I was Blake Lively's legal team, ooh, child, sweet baby Jesus, this would be them right about now. So the TikTok streets had already came up to this conclusion months ago when the story started to develop that Justin Baldoni is a kind dude, right? And that he was an easy mark. He was an easy lick for Blake Lively and now her husband. But this is so much deeper than this Hollywood couple stealing a movie. So let's not take away from the entire point and premise, right? She stole a movie with the help of her husband because Blake Lively isn't smart enough or intelligent enough to come up with this entire ploy. The brains behind it was definitely her husband, considering that her husband has a reputation throughout his entire career of stealing movies, undercutting directors, undermining producers. I mean, there's countless videos, so I don't even have to say allegedly because the people who were there definitely said it. Let's not we forget the original director of Deadpool, he quit. So it's interesting that it was so much more than just stealing a movie. Ryan Reynolds was jealous of Justin Baldoni, jealous of the man that he is. Because if you look at it, Ryan Reynolds is the epitome of toxic masculinity. where Justin Baldoni is the archetype or the epitome of healthy masculinity, right? So, two sides of the same coin, but very, very polar opposite, yin and yang. I wish the gentleman who was interviewing him would have went a little deeper and probed a little deeper because he just kept it on the surface. He kept that shit puddle deep, right? He should have went deeper. He should have went harder. But word on the streets is the PR give very explicit instructions to any and all press not to ask any questions. But this was even before the lawsuit, before the drama. Press nowadays, they just pussy pop and tap dance. They don't ask real probing questions at all. They don't get into the nuances and the details. They are more fans asking superficial questions than legitimate journalists, but that's just my opinion and observation. When I tell you Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni are night and day, yin and yang, north and south, Justin Baldoni is doing the right thing. Laying low, not talking to the press, not making any appearances. If he does make appearances, it's because of the paparazzi or fans. He's just doing what he needs to do. His legal team is doing what they need to do. His PR team doing what they need to do. On the flip side, you have Ryan Reynolds who's just running his mouth. Like it's almost to the point where it's like, "Ho, is you cool? Bruh, you are not okay." And he just continues to just make the situation worse and worse. But let me show you another example of how he's snitching on himself.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
So in the scene, she's sitting there, and I take her top off, I take her bra off, and she has the those pasties on.
Right.
But she's drawing these adorable little smiley faces on me. And I forget every line in the scene. Not just from this movie, from every other movie I've done. And I don't really know what I'm sort of going up. I'm nervous. I'm blithering on about nothing. And at some point in the scene, she takes my hands and puts them on her breasts. So they're there. Palms are a little sweaty. Don't know what's happening. And then at the end of the scene, I'm supposed to take them. And I'm trying not to look at her like a 14-year-old boy who just won the lady lottery.
Right, right.
And
won the lady lottery. Is that what it's called?
yeah,
The lady lottery.
And I'm trying not to do it. And I take, at some point in the scene, I have to take my hands away. And I
Right.
take my hands away. And I look down at my hands, and there's two freaking smiley faces on them. And I have no idea what to do. So, the scene is over now. There's 65 crew members around. I mean, there's all these guys. There's like the one, the jackpot. I'm sitting there, and I reflexively, like an idiot, just put my hands right back on her breast. And I think I'm doing it to cover them up, but I'm like realizing right now it's a very fine line between
Yes.
chivalry and, workplace sexual assault.
Right.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? How did this get your ass?
So that clip was sent to me by one of my beautiful tribe members yesterday. And I commented and I said, that's not sexual assault. And let me explain why I said that. It's not sexual assault because of the context. They were shooting an intimate scene. Before you tussle with me in the comment section, I know the definition of sexual assault: unwanted touching. But that's up for Olivia Wilde to make that determination. I'm only saying that if I was sitting as a member of the jury, okay? So don't come for me. I get it. Don't come for me for a movie, right? So Olivia Wilde and him are in various stages of undress. She had pasties on to maintain a semblance of modesty or based off of the guidelines of her nudity writer, right? Now, that movie was released in 2011, so filming had to have occurred anywhere between 2011 and 2009 because back in the day, oftentimes it would take anywhere between 12 to 18 months to film a movie and produce a movie. Also, during that time period, intimacy coordinators did not exist. And this was during the beginning of the Me Too movement. So pretty much during that time period, and this is based off of what previous actors and other actors have said in the past when they shot scenes like that, they just kind of rolled with it, right? Based off of the director's guidelines. So, for the sake of context, I don't see that as sexual assault, but I definitely see it as sexual harassment. What I do observe, and this is just from a reasonable person perspective, is Ryan Reynolds is grossly, grossly inappropriate and unprofessional and had absolutely zero consideration for Olivia Wilde's emotional and physical safety. He said that there were at least 60 people on the set. So that right there tells me it was not a closed set. So he had complete and total disregard for her safety. I don't know if this could be used as evidence for Brian Friedman to establish a pattern and behavior in regards to Ryan Reynolds' own misogyny and how he treats his female co stars. Hopefully, it could be admissible in court. Hopefully, it could be used as evidence in regards to how he completely invalidates and disregards the safety of his female co stars. I'm not a lawyer, but that's up for the lawyers to make that determination. I hope these video clips can be used in court to establish pattern, behavior, and motive, but that's up for the judge and the courts to decide. But let me know what you think.